Alrighty, boys and girls, time for Chapter 9, Lesson 3, Probability of Compound Events. Let's go ahead and get started with the vocab. So, a compound event, that's two or more simple events put together. Remember, simple events are things like flipping a coin to see if you get heads or tails, rolling a number cube to see what number comes up, things like that. When you do two or more of those together, it's a compound event. So, for example, let's say you flipped a coin, then rolled a number cube to see what your chances were of getting tails and then a 3, or heads and then a 6, and so forth. Next, we have tree diagrams. Tree diagrams are diagrams, and they're diagrams of the compound events. They ultimately show you what the sample space is, which we'll get to next. The reason why they call them tree diagrams is because there are branches that come out from each choice or outcome, and the best way to show you this is for me to show you an example of what one looks like. So we'll get into this definition more once we show an example. And the last word, sample space. The sample space is the list of all outcomes. The whole reason why we do the tree diagram is so we can find the sample space and everything that's in that list. So let's take a look at an example. Okay, so let's say we got this problem. At a store, each customer first chooses a soup or a hamburger, then they get to choose their drink, either a water, juice, or milkshake. And we want you to draw a tree diagram and the sample space. Well, this is how we do it. First, you start out with the first round of choices. The first round of choices, you get to choose between a soup or a hamburger. That's two options in this event. So I'm going to draw two branches here, one for each option. First option is soup. Second option, hamburger. Now all I wrote was S and H. You can do that too. Don't worry about writing the whole word. Abbreviate this. No problem. Now this is the first round, our first set of options. Notice these are lined up. These are the two choices. Next, we get to choose our drink, either water, juice, or milkshake. That's three options in this round. So, from the end of each one of these branches, I'm going to draw three more branches. One for water, one for juice, one for milkshake. And that's why I left so much room, so this will all fit. Always leave yourself room with these. So, if they get soup, they can choose water. They could choose juice. They could choose a milkshake. Notice these are all lined up. If they chose the hamburger instead, they could then choose water, they could choose juice, or they could choose a milkshake. This is my second round of options. First round, lined up, two choices. Second round, I have three choices. So, this whole thing right here is my tree diagram. Now, once we have our tree diagram done, remember the whole point of this is to get the sample space, the list of all outcomes. So I'm going to draw a straight line from the end of the last outcome all the way down. And now I'm going to follow along each path to see what every combination is. Someone could choose a soup and a water. Someone could choose a soup and a juice. A soup and a milkshake, a hamburger and a water, hamburger and a juice, or a hamburger and a milkshake. Now as you can see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 different combinations. And these combinations, this is what is called the sample space. Remember, the sample space is the list of all outcomes. Now, once we have this completed, we may have further questions to answer. For example, what's the probability that someone chooses a soup and a water? Well, there was one combination that was soup and water out of 6 total, so this would be 1 out of 6. Next, what's the probability someone chooses a juice? Well, here we can have soup and juice. Here we can have a hamburger and juice. So 2 things satisfy this out of 6. and we know that reduces to 1/3. Next, the probability of a hamburger. There are 3 combinations with a hamburger out of 6 total combinations in the sample space, and that reduces to 1/2. And that's it for Chapter 9, Section 3. If you need more examples, check out the extra video.